Welcome to the Cookbook, where we invite guests on to share the ingredients of what has helped make them the successes that they are. All of it, the good, the not so good. You're not going to find anything half-baked here. And our kitchen gets messy sometimes. That's when the fun starts. So come on and join us. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Cookbook. I'm your host, Iris Goldfeder, and I am super excited today to introduce my guest, Camille Miller. So, you always have all of these like screw ups, with calendar. I've had to like reschedule twice, and those of you who know me know that that's like it drives me insane. But we made it. We're here, so I'm super excited about that. Before we start, please click down below and like, share, subscribe. When we're done here, leave a review, and also leave us like a little tidbit of what you've learned. But I'm going to probably say that again at the end. But like, share, and subscribe. So without further ado, here's Camille. Hi. We finally made it happen. Yeah. Freaking calendar. It's like, it kills me because time for me is if I have a meeting with somebody and they're like a minute late or 2 minutes late, I'm like, because I try to be early. And if I'm late, then something's on fire. Right. And so for me to have to like reschedule like that twice on you, I felt awful. And I'm like, what is going on with my calendar? And what was happening was my Google Calendar wasn't showing as busy. So the thing would be there and I would see it, but nobody else would see that the time was busy.
I see. Yeah.
So that's why you were able to see that, oh yeah, she's free. And it was like, no, I have this, I was like.
The funny thing is for our first appointment, I kept getting the reminders and I'm like, did I mess up? Am I supposed to be on a podcast? Right?
I mean, it's been
and then your team kept going, do you have everything for our meeting? And I was like, that was changed. So I was like, I rebooked the time. Yeah.
And then I'm like, what is going on? Because it was you. Like, if I tell you, I probably had to like rearrange 20 different things. And my team was like, what the fuck is going on? Oh yeah, it was insane. I was like, oh wow, God, I can't. And I finally said to my assistant, please handle it because I'm going to I'll have like an aneurysm. I can't handle this stuff. Yeah. So no aneurysm. I'm kidding. So it was just kind of crazy. So, what I love about you. So we had our conversation, a few weeks ago, and I just love that we're both in that same soul space, and that that's just so important to me now because people. I don't think a lot of people realize that when you lead with your soul, it all changes. Like all of the alignment changes, all of the things that matter change.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, right? And so, and so like when I talk to, JU, when I talk to like other people, it's just like this thing that just like I get lit up.
Yeah.
Because
it's feel good. Yeah.
It feels so good.
And that's not to say that I still have the same problem. Although I lead with my soul, I teach everything about my soul and aligning your business with your soul. That doesn't mean that sometimes I don't like flip into masculine energy and I'm in the rush and right. Like it happens. I actually just got back from Costa Rica and I had always thought that I was kind of in flow and feeling really good. And when I was there, I was still like buzzing for the first 2 days. And then I all of a sudden feel a calm. And I'm like, what I thought was a calm in New Jersey. Right?
Okay, let's Costa Rica, New Jersey. Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of a difference there in energy.
It was my calm for New Jersey. And then I get there and I'm like, oh boy. But now that I just flew back yesterday, I still have this like calm to me. Like, it's fine. It'll all work out. And I was like, how do I stay here? Or I just vacation more. But
I mean, there's that.
Yeah. But it's, I feel like life here is it's hard to stay in your alignment all the time because we have our 3D life of, paying the bills and doing the stuff and taking care of the kids and the house and the business and the stuff and the stuff and the stuff. And it's a little bit harder. So it's like recorrecting and kind of going, okay, let me tweak this again because I'm getting out of alignment or I'm feeling not good.
Yeah,
so
something feels off.
So how do we come back to that?
When I was 33, it was like 100 years ago. Actually, it was like 32 years ago. I'm going to be 65 in like a couple of weeks. And it blows my mind that 33. Anyway, so with that, when I was like 32 or 33, my best friend at the time was like, you need to come to Barbados with me. And I was like, I don't have them. I can't, no, I can't go. And she said, no, I'm going to pay for everything. You just have to pay for food. And I was like, what? And she said, something is telling me that you need this and I need to do this. And she said, I already paid for it. So you're coming. And I was like,
wow.
Holy crap. And I was freaking out because, back then I was not in a really great space. And I agreed to go. And I had a very volatile life at that point, right? Like everything was like just stress and stress and stress and stress. And we land and we get to it was Sam Lord's Castle. It's not there anymore. It's since burned down.
Okay.
I just got goosebumps. And we were walking around the property and I was like, man, I have this really weird feeling. And she goes, what? I'm like, I can't explain it, but it's like this, it's in here. And it doesn't even feel like I'm feeling anything. And she goes, that's called calm. And I was like, what? She said, you've never been calm in your life. I had a really fucked up life, right? I mean, I did. It was what it was. But I was like, oh. And that trip changed my life. Because, we were walking around the property and I was like, holy crap. I'm not worried about anything. I could care less if whatever is happening in New York burns down right now. I don't care. Like I could have cared less. All that mattered was this amazing calm that I felt that was I was centered for the first time in my life. It was amazing. And I was like, oh my God, how do I keep this? Like, when we go back, how do I keep this? Yeah. And it was the weirdest thing. I got back to New York and I had this dream. Talk about the universe and spirit and all that, right? Just how like things change. And I didn't even know that that's what it was back then. Like now I know looking back. And I had this dream that I was at like this crossroads. And there was a road this way and it had like lights and trees and some other stuff. And then there was a road this way. And it was just like this, there were trees, but it was like a dirt road. And it was kind of like, So I went down that road, the dirt path road. And that calm was there. And I was like, oh, okay. And from that moment on, every decision I made in life has been for the better. And it was literally a turning point in my life. It was like a crossroads. It was like, the song Crossroads. I went down to the crossroads. And let me tell you, you come to that road and I chose the right path. And then it was like, 30 something years later or 20 something years later when I started getting pinged by the universe to, start acknowledging all the things I'm supposed to acknowledge. But it was an amazing thing. And, the calm didn't stay because the calm isn't going to stay forever. But it gave me this center that I never had before. And so when you say you just got back from Costa Rica, it's like, find that center, right? Just find that center.
Yeah.
it's not gonna be there every single minute because the chaos is going to come back, because that's just life. But if we can go back to that, and you're soul-centered, you know that, right? It's like we go back
remembering
to
it. Yeah. But you get caught up. Like I said, like I thought I was in a calming space. Like I thought I was calm when I went, until I got there and I was like, oh my God, I'm a bundle of nerves and I didn't even know it. I was like, here I am practicing. But I had a similar experience in the end of 22. I went to Mexico with a girlfriend. I'm divorced. I raised 3 kids full time, like had the life. And it was the most life-changing thing, because I realized when I was there that I didn't have to take care of anyone. For the first time since I had children.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, I don't think I've ever gone on vacation without bringing people with me, right? Because all my kids were in college. And actually, my oldest one graduated that weekend because I flew from Mexico to her college to go to her graduation.
Wow.
And yeah, because I was not going. But it was such an eye-opener. And from that moment on, I started to travel. Because I was like, it changed my life. But my first had graduated college. So, and I have a set of twins right after that. And they were going into their junior year. So I was like, I'm almost done. Like, I'm ready for this chapter about me. And, but that was a turning point for me. Just remembering, wow, I hadn't been on my own since I started having kids in 2000.
That's so cool. And when we, you think about, like, we don't have like human kids. We have, fur kids. Those are our kids. And my wife and I, for the first time, we went on vacation, and it was, we went to Hawaii. And it was our 10-year wedding anniversary because, gay marriage wasn't legal until 2012. So, we went in 2022. And I have this picture of my wife where you can see that she is relaxed and just calm, and the joy it's like my favorite picture of her. And I took that picture because I looked over to her and I was like, oh, there it is. That's what I was waiting for, right? And when we were in Hawaii, because I'm so in touch with the universe and my spirit and soul and all that, it was so sacred. It was like anywhere we went was sacred. I let a freaking chicken jump on me. Normally I'd be like, but the chickens were there and we were at the pool and I was like, okay, whatever. I have food, but you could jump on me. It was just the most amazing, amazing experience. So I get that, this was the first time that we went on vacation in like 20 years.
Yeah.
That it wasn't with family. It wasn't running around seeing people. It wasn't a business trip. It wasn't, and it was just like us. And it was like, we didn't know what to do the first 2 days. We were like, this is crazy, right? It's like, we don't, and the beautiful thing about Hawaii is that it's 6 hours behind.
Yeah.
We're in Eastern time. So it's 6 hours behind. So by the time we got up, everybody was leaving work. So we didn't even have to work. Of course, I looked at my stuff and I made one business call that I got yelled at for because they're like, why are you calling? I'm like, well, I'm sitting in traffic, on so-and-so highway and I have the ocean to the left of me. I'm good. We could talk this through for a minute, because I wasn't going anywhere. I get it. It's just like when you have that whole lack of responsibility, although I can't compare that to 3 kids and all the other stuff. So tell us about, Camille and all of the things that you do.
All the things I do.
All the things you do.
All the things I do.
We'll bring our accents out. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was, before I started the company that I run now, a not-for-profit executive. So that's where my whole career and everything started, was in not-for-profit work. And before this, the last job that I had, I was CEO for the state of New Jersey for the Northeast Organic Farming Association. So I spent a lot of time in food and farming, but it was in that position that I had met all these really soulful people, like holistically based. Then I called them holistic. Now I call them soul-based or heart-based, or right. And they ate clean food, and that's how I ended up meeting them. But I realized that they also had these very high-stress jobs, or they were in, the wild, the real life. They were in professional jobs, our doctors, our lawyers, or CPAs, a lot from Wall Street because of New Jersey. And they were living this kind of sacred, holistic lifestyle, but then going to work, and they were like two different people. But I, for the first time, realized, oh my God, I'm doing the same thing. Like, I'm pretending to be a professional, right? But I actually live this whole other life. Wow. So that job actually dovetailed who I am with what I do. Right. And that was the start of all of like, wait a minute, how many of us are actually hiding because we're playing this role of a professional because of what society thinks we should be, right? Or we're going after the title or the money or the whatever the motivator was. And it was a lot different when I went to business school, right? We were taught very masculine energy too, right? We were taught to dominate, for greed, for things, for stuff, My childhood was all in the 80s when all of that was coming through, right? It was more about the stuff in life when we started having designer jeans and designer everything, right?
Jordache.
All started when I was in high school.
Z Cavaricci. Sorry.
Yeah. So it was more about like the stuff and things.
Yeah.
But I realized I hit a point where that was not my motivator anymore. Right. And I was like, well, how many people are in the same boat as me? So that job got defunded in 2015. Ooh. And I was looking for what am I doing next? But I had made such impact. Right. And I loved my work. I loved my work, loved my stuff. And I was like, I'm not taking a step back. So what am I going to do? And I was offered a number of positions like at hospitals and universities because I had done fundraising and work there. But I knew it didn't make my heart sing. And I was like, this isn't going to be it. So in my search for what is next for me, I would go to like holistic groups and I was like way too woo-woo, not who I am. Like there's nothing concrete that I felt good about. And then I'd go to like a business group looking for, a connection, a career, like, what am I doing here? And I was like, that's not me either. Like, it just didn't feel the energy that was very masculine, right? It was sales, it was driven, and I was like, that's not me either. So I ended up going to a networking group for Natural Awakens magazine, which is like a holistic based little throwaway free magazine that you'd find in like your food markets, right? And it had it was in December and it had this little like free networking. And I was like, well, I'll go over there, see what those people are doing. Maybe someone has an idea, right? So I ended up going. I remember it was December 5th of 2015. And all these people, but nobody was talking to each other. Like we had pharmacists and lawyers and contracts and psychics and mediums. And like all of these people were in a room. So they all were holistically or spiritually based, but they were all introverts like me. So put a bunch of introverts in a room, that does not go over well.
That is not a good networking.
So when I was talking to a few people, and that was a lot for me, right? It wasn't really comfortable. I'm an introvert. Sure. I realized that all of these people have the same client base and they don't know each other. So there's a gap in the world.
Wow.
I was like, these are all people trying to run businesses, which I was really good at putting together, and, figure out what the next step is for them. But they don't know each other or know how to network and find each other and their clients in the world. Right. So I was like, but I can fix that. right? Like, I know how to do this. I run nonprofits. So I opened up what was called the Natural Life Business Partnership. And it was a way for everyone that lived this holistic lifestyle that they could meet each other. And we started off as a little coffee club. Started in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut. We grew and we grew and we grew. And the end of 2017, I got a call from California and they're like, oh my God, I've been watching you. I can't wait for you to come out here. And I knew in that moment, I did not have a scalable business model.
Because you had to go out there and do it.
And I was like, that is never going to pay. Right. I was like, oh my God. And I was running like a membership because my idea was to be a professional organization for these types of people, just like the Bar Association or the American Medical Association. Like, I had big aspirations and I was like, this is what I can do, because that's the background I came out of. Right. I can run these huge membership organizations and get people what they need. And so that's all I knew. So that's what I did. But I started it as a coffee club because that's how I knew that I could talk to people. So in the end of 2017, I got that call and I was like, crap, what am I going to do? I'm a single mom. I got 3 kids. And at that time they were still in high school, so I couldn't go anywhere. Right. And I heard of this thing called Zoom. And Zoom changed my life. And I said, you know what? I feel that video is going to be our future and we're all going to eventually have global businesses that run. So I'm going to take a chance and open up a no chapter networking organization. At that time, I was just thinking like the US. Like,
and what year was that?
That was the end of 2017.
Wow. Okay.
So I heard of the Zoom thing. Now, I should add that I am very intuitive. So I get these kind of like nudges of this is what you need to do. And I actually don't question them when they're that strong. I don't question them. And I'm like, okay, I guess the world's going to go on Zoom. So I opened up in 2018 as a no chapter organization that we ran on Zoom. And I was still having coffees. I mean, I had coffee with Camille on Zoom. And I'm like, nice. Everyone can now meet with me. I don't have to run around and do this. And if people still want to meet in person, we could have ambassadors all over. And that's what we did. And we started to grow pretty nicely. And by 2019, I had gone international because people had found us and I was getting international clients anyway. And I was certified in something called Psych-K, which is like an energy psychology that helps with subconscious beliefs. And that's how I got international. And then in 2020, you might remember that we had this global pandemic.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
Remember that.
And we were already positioned for it. We didn't have to pivot. We didn't have to change. All of our programming was done on Zoom by that time because in 2018, everyone fought me. But by the end of 2018, everyone was good. And by 2019, people were getting on Zoom and we were having our masterminds and our meetings and our networking. Everything was done on Zoom.
Yep.
So people were starting to meet people all over, but that was just the US at that point. So, and 2019 was a little international, but not like when the pandemic hit. When that pandemic hit. 2020
changed. I remember, everything. My friend Michelle is going to laugh. I'm not going to talk about the dogs, but when 2020 hit, or when COVID hit and we couldn't leave our houses,
yeah,
I was like, I'm going to die because like where you're an introvert, I'm a social, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I would take my clients to lunch all the time. We'd go to, we'd go out, whatever, and I couldn't anymore. And I was having issues with COVID anyway, because I couldn't control what everybody was freaking doing. So I found, my online community and it was through Zoom. And I remember the first time I got Zoom, I was like, this is kind of like Skype.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, Skype. Yeah. And then I said, well, why don't we just meet on Skype? And they're like, no, it's Zoom. You have to get like a Zoom account. So I got my Zoom account and I started doing my thing. But my business grew because of Zoom. It became national because you weren't really, anything local. The people here wanted to meet in person. I was like, I'm not meeting you in person. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Yeah. And now that's become our norm. But at the time, everyone was little fight. But we didn't have to pivot, change anything. But so the good side was we didn't have to pivot or change. The bad side was all those people that were watching us from the sidelines just started pouring in. Wow. And I did not have the infrastructure for the amount of people that came in.
Neither did Zoom.
And it was just me.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't have a staff at that point. Right. Wow. I had me, and I probably had my VA. I'm not positive I had even a VA at that point. I forget when my first VA was hired. And I was just like, and it took all of my time, but I wasn't really making money because more people were coming in and finding us. Right. So it was kind of like a different type of energy, but changed everything. And then at the end of 2020, and I had one of those, I made my own website. I made my own logo. I was just kind of like, so then when everyone came in, I was like, boy, we're not looking that professional, are we? Right? So at the end of 2020, a marketing expert came to me and she's like, I love what you're doing, but none of this is reflected on your website at all. Like you really, so I invested, and that's when I kind of got the download of the whole soul professional idea. And I trademarked the word, and we opened up in 2029 as soulprofessional.com. So it was the Natural Life Business Partnership.org or something. It was the naturallife.org. And now we're the Soul Professional, which people can remember a lot easier. And that's where the whole movement started. So it was always the original plan to be a professional organization for this purpose-driven thing. So in 2021, we relaunched. We did really well. And then about 2 years ago, I started to realize, well, I miss kind of doing one-on-one work and working with people again, because I was doing all the community stuff, right? And once that was, so then I went back in that, and then I never had branded my own name. I was more behind the scenes. So I was like, if I'm going to go big, I'm going to have to step ahead. And that whole thing. So we really pivoted and did all of that. And last year we launched the Soul Professional Business School. I am a former professor, and I taught MBA students business strategy. So it was in that role that I realized we are not teaching the people of the future. We are teaching old methods, old stuff. Right. The same stuff I learned in the 80s. Like it's still business fundamentals we need, but we need it from a place. And in entrepreneurship, they teach products. They never teach service. Right. And I am very certain that the future is going to be service professionals. Right. And we're not working for corporations. We're working for ourselves. So the Soul Professional Business School we launched last summer. So I beta tested a couple things. I teach one class. It's called my Business Accelerator and Mentorship Program. It's getting people from concept all the way to launch, all the way through everything. And we teach them everyone. My clients are calling it, it's like a mini MBA. And it's like a boot camp, the whole thing, right? But it's proven to be very successful. So now we're inviting faculty and all of these people that have left really good universities to come back. But you can't just be a teacher. You actually have to be doing it in the world. So if you have a 6-figure or above business and you've taught before, and there's a lot of criteria to teach in our school, because I want it to be a global model for what can be when people choose not to go to college anymore. And this will be strictly for business, but we'll also teach, mindset and writing and all the things you need to know for a business will be taught in that school. And then there's also an online academy, which is a little easier to get into for people. But it's all part of the Soul Professional brand. And the movement itself is about a global call for all of these people doing incredible work in the world that want to be part of this global citizenship, being a good human, no matter where you live in the world, and making everyone rise with you, right? It's about cooperation and collaboration and all the good heart, soul-centered stuff in the world. So you can read about the movement. There's a pledge that we have people sign that they're going to be this type of citizen in the world, and this is how they're going to run their business. So we all have the same core values. So if someone calls me and says, I need a marketer, or I need an attorney, or I need something, we can go to the directory and say, here's one with our same core values. They've signed our pledge. They know who you are in the world, and they recognize who we are. So it's more of a we, not an I, or we are doing this together. So my mission was always to help other people get their gifts to the world, no matter what that looks like. And, help them with that business model, help them do it. So there is like free networking and free programming, but I do free business classes because not everyone can afford to hire Americans or people with these, larger economies like us. Yeah. Right. So I wanted to make sure that everyone was educated everywhere, regardless of their financial position. And that's part of the Soul Professional movement. So it's a lot of leaders and people coming together and collaborating to teach everyone everywhere. And so that's a little bit about the movement. But it's a global calling to this. And it's really a professional service organization. That's really what it is. Right now, everything is free. We just want people to know where you are, and everyone will get a free listing if they sign the pledge in our directory. And that's my big thing right now. So
I'm going to have to go sign that pledge.
Yes, please do, and share it.
It's so. What I love, excuse me, it's like everything is blooming right now.
Yeah, I gotcha.
My throat chakra also. But what I love about it is that in a world, I haven't done that in a while. But in our world that is so chaotic right now, to know that there is this soul-centered movement that is for the betterment, to me, it is literally like, where can I sign? Because it is so, like, I made a pledge to myself. I made a promise to myself that I will not work with a company that doesn't align with my values. If our values don't align, I'm not working with them.
Yeah.
And it's cost a bunch of money in the last quarter. I mean,
we do the same.
I was tempted a couple of times. I was tempted because it was a big ticket, and I was like, oh, no, I can't, because in the long run, I know it's not going to be good. And to find like souls that feel that way, that come from that place of service, where it's not about us, it's about the collective.
Yes.
That, to me, is everything, because it's not about us. No. We've all been woken up and, called to the collective. And I know people that, so on the last, I think it was the last podcast, I fully came out with my woo, came out as a lesbian in 1981, but I came out as woo, last week publicly. But for me, it's how I run my business now. It's who I am.
So I think that there's more people like you, like me, right? Because I was running this and still in certain situations not owning it, right? And I think we all do that, right? Wow. So now I own it, and I do better because I own it. Because now, right, I'm in the vibration of owning it, so people feel that vibration and come closer. And I think that's why I couldn't do it earlier, because I wasn't the same person. And now, by owning it, being authentic, showing up in my own light, attracts other people. So it's my energy that is attracting people like me, because a lot of us hit it because it wasn't really acceptable, right? I don't want people to think I'm woo or they won't pay for that, or right. But now I think more people are doing that.
For me, it wasn't I didn't think people wouldn't work with me because everybody, okay, since I was, woken up 5 years ago, because I've been suppressing this my whole life, right? And the universe was just really loud this time. Like there's no suppressing it. We are calling all the light work. Everybody's waking up. You're part of the collective. Get your ass up and let's go, right? It was like this very loud call. And everybody that I have met in the last 5 years, maybe with the exception of 2 to 3 people, every single person that I have met is woo. Everybody. And it was like, it wasn't even a matter of coming out, right? It was just like, these are the people that I talk to. These are the people that I work with. These are the people that, are coming into my orbit, and coaches and, whatever. And what was really funny was, I think it was like in November, because I light my candles and I have my crystals and I do my this and I, whatever. And my friend goes, "So you're like a witch?" And I went, "Well, I'm kind of like witch light. I'm not like there yet, right? So like I don't do all the magic-y stuff. But I want to, and I'm going to, you know what I mean?" So it's like,
yeah.
And it's like, so they laugh when I'm like, I'm a baby witch. Like my friends who are like really into the magic and they feel all the things. And I'm like, yeah, I don't feel that yet. There are certain things that I feel now that I have not felt. I know when my guides are with me. I know when my angels are with me. Like I know because I get that woo that I never knew what that was until I forgot what happened. But I was talking about something and I'm like, damn, they just never show up. And it was like, woo. I was like, okay, I got that one. It's like, now I know what that means. And so for me, I think it's like, I always meet these people that, here we go. I always meet these people that are just figuring it out. And it's like my job to kind of lead them into, I say guide them to the light. And I don't mean like that light, but the light, the work. And I can't tell you how many of my friends are like, so like, I haven't told anybody else this, but, and I'm like, I know. Like, what do you mean, I'm like, I know, I'm not going to tell you because that's going to scare you.
Yeah.
So I wait for them to say, okay, I'm ready. And then I'm like, okay, cool. So now we can talk about it and I can, and a friend of mine, literally, who I never would have expected, didn't see this one coming. They don't live here anymore. And they were like, so I had this experience and I was like, no shit, really, you? And then I guided her and it was just like, okay, you definitely lean into it. Like, don't, just lean into it. Just go where it takes you.
Yeah. I think there's more of awakening now. It's also the age of Aquarius and there's all of that. Like, but there is a paradigm shift that has been happening. So it's not like it all of a sudden just poof, right? So, but like you, I'm seeing people all over, right? And I have probably shedded the people that no longer see the world like I see the world.
Oh my God, 100.
Shedding it is
like, look at the goosebumps.
Yeah. Ooh, right. And that's who I hang out with. I'm always like, I'm not sure if more people are awakening or those are the people that are in my vibration at the moment, because that's who I am.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we're waking, we woke up.
Yeah. So, and when you own it, you shine brighter. Your vibration is higher. Right. So those are the people that you bring, because that's the law of attraction. We're a vibrational match for each other.
Who introduced us?
I don't know. I can look.
Was it JU?
Hold on, I look, because I'm sure I have you in my database.
Oh, I know I have. I could just look on my
Iris, I have you. We met through LinkedIn. Oh, we were both in the Dames at one time, but I had been watching your podcast and I knew a whole bunch of them. And so I reached out to you.
That's right. And yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I just noticed I have this like cut on my arm. I don't know where it came from. It's bugging me. Yeah, because that's right. You reached out and then I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But see, so I attracted you.
Yeah, in a way you did. Yeah.
And so, but like
attracts like.
Attracts like. And so, through that, because if I tell you messages that I get on LinkedIn, girl, it's a little, I get like a lot. Hey, let's talk. Let's, and then I connect and then they sell me something or whatever.
Yeah.
And you were obviously different. But so you're not in the Dames anymore?
No.
Okay. Anyway, so we'll talk. But so what I find interesting is that what you're doing, and I love that you created a movement, because I don't know that I'm meant to create like a movement. I think this podcast is like a vessel or a vehicle or a whatever for something, right? It's my passion project.
Yeah.
And I don't, it's not monetized. I get yelled at all the time. Like, you need to be monetizing this. And it's like, no, that's not what this is about. Right. But I really believe this has been like a portal for me to meet these like amazing people, you included, right? It's like, I get to meet amazing people. And I talked about this last week. What I love about this, I did a video about this on LinkedIn, is that I get to meet people that I never would have met otherwise. Right. Yeah. I never would have met them, even being on LinkedIn. And if I didn't have a podcast. And so for me, it's like this big, like, I don't want to stop, because I don't want to stop meeting people, because, you and I are going to be talking for years. Like, I already know this, right? and so it's like, there are certain people that I have met that I know it's going to be a continued connection. There are other people that I've met that I know it's not, that it's a one-time thing, and that's cool, whatever. But it's been this really cool portal. And I love that you have this heart-centered, soul-centered movement, because we need that so badly right now. I mean, we need it.
I agree. That's why it's a relaunch, because I felt like I was the person to do it now, and the world needs it. The world really needs it. But go ahead. I was just going to say, how you had said, you weren't the person that could do a movement, but you have the podcast, right? I had a podcast. I actually ended that in December. I loved the conversations, but it was taking up so much of my time. I was like, is this the best use of my time, my energy, when I can be doing more? And if it's taking away from my actual mission, like for me, I made the choice to let it go. And I said, what I'll do instead is be on a podcast a week the whole year of 2025. So that's my goal. And so far I've been doing pretty damn well. But I also know about myself, and this is another reason why in 2021 it didn't work, for many reasons. Not that it didn't work. It was done differently. So, and I restructured this one. I am an introvert. I am also a visionary. I see big picture. I don't always know how to get there, but I see the biggest picture, right? So I need very detailed people around me. But for this, I always knew, and Spirit always it's about a collaboration. He keeps telling me five. I don't know if it's 5 people, 5 leaders, 5. It's going to be 5. So
this week. No, 5 has been popping up everywhere for me.
That's all he keeps telling me. It's going to be 5. It's going to be 5. But one of the things I know that
Can I say that
I can't
May
do
is the
this
5th month?
alone. Oh, it could be May. It could be May. That's so interesting because I had a great idea yesterday, and this all is coming around right now, if that's the 5. Because I kept going, what is the 5? What is the 5? And I was like, I need a leadership team. Because I actually need extroverted leaders and people with platforms and people that can help champion this with me and help me make decisions, because it's not my group. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like my community because I'm the coach. Like, that's not what this is. This is a brand and an idea that should live longer than me. And that's the idea. It's like, how are we creating this so this lives on? Right. And that's why I had to brand myself separately. But I'm creating what I just jotted down as like my soul leader group. Who are my soul leaders that are going to be doing this with me? And I thought that's what the 5 was, but it was really interesting because I woke up, I came back from Costa Rica. I was like, we're going to have a meeting in May. I'm just going to invite people that I feel could be leaders, and whoever shows up, whoever and we'll see what happens, right? Because I was like, here are the things that I don't know, because there's so many things that could happen here. I know it's about school. I know it's about education. I know it's about, purpose over profit, but profit is also important to keep people going in the world, right? But I know it's about global conversations. I know it's about filling the gaps, because that's what I'm really good at. Filling the gaps that fill us for our future. So we're all working towards our future self, right? I don't want to make a decision now that'll affect, everything affects my future self, but I want to make it from that future self place, not where I am today, but where I am 15 years from now.
Trying to work backwards.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, which I think is a good way to run a business, but.
100%.
Yeah. So, I don't know how we got on this tangent, but that's more about the movement, the number 5.
Podcast.
Oh, yeah. But I know that it's not me. And that's like the weird thing, because I can't do this. I don't even have the personality to do it. I have the energy and the vision, and I am a very good visionary, and I do see gaps in the world, and I do get kind of told, like, I have a spirit team that's just like, this is what's next. But I always say it's like cars, headlights on a car. He shows me 200 feet, and I know the path continues to go, but I don't get more information until I move forward. And he's always showing me the next step, but he doesn't, like, I hold the vision and he shows me the step one at a time, because I think he knows that if you give it all to me, it's too much, but I can work this way. Right. So I say, hey, do you want to be part of the leadership team? I have no idea where we're going, but you can co-create it with me. Like, and I love co-creating. I don't do well single. Like, even when I teach now, I used to do one-on-ones. Now I do hybrids. Like, I teach as a group, and then I meet with you one-on-one to apply it to your business. I teach the theory as a group, and I meet, like, my hybrid, exponential results, right? And I'm like, that's it. But I also know that I'm a teacher, right? So as long as I stay in my genius, we can help the world pretty well.
That is so interesting, because I'm like, I'm listening to you and I'm going, well, because I'm also a visionary. I see the big picture. I can, like, I'll give you an example. Our not-for-profit, Unmasking. I had this vision of this thing that it was going to be, right? I knew that it was going to be big, and I knew that it was going to, raise funds, and I knew it was going to do. But the minutia, oh my God, no. And my partner, Michelle, is like so detail oriented that it's just like, it's amazing. Because of her, not only, and I think also from owning my own business, right? So not only do I see the big picture, but I know the steps that you have to take to get there. And what I love about it is that I hear you talk about this, and it's just like, it's so funny because, like, I don't know, 3 years ago, I would have been like, I see that, but I have no idea how to get there. And my job now is to help my clients, like they're here. So my clients basically have hit the wall. They've been a startup, they've done that, they've grown, and now they've hit the wall. And they don't know how to get to this next level with marketing and all the other stuff. So that's where we come in. We help them get from here to here, because you can't get here by doing the things that you did to get here. I mean, that's just right.
Yeah.
So we create the roadmap, and the roadmap is kind of the minutia. It's kind of the, okay, so you want to get here. And then I also tell them, you don't have to do everything all at once. Like everybody wants to do everything all at once. And it's like, no, because A, you're going to blow through your budget, but B, something may change. So take it a step at a time.
Yes.
Redo your website 100%. It's not your brand anymore. It's not who you are. Redo it 100%. Great. SEO, of course, is going to go with the website. But what's the next thing? Right? And then what's the next thing? And so I love that, that you see that big picture. And for me, it's like, I know that I see the big picture, but now I also know how to kind of get there. So
I see I can see steps, and obviously I help my clients with the steps, but I know that I don't have to know how to do it all. And that stops a lot of the smaller professionals, right? So my daughter actually is the operations director for my entire business, but I had to wait for her to get out of college. Right. I was waiting for you. But we work so well together, because I keep seeing the big picture and she makes it happen. Like I could be like we're doing an online university, and I'm like, how do we get creators to, like, how do we put it up? Because we can't have everyone in our system. So how does that work? And she's like, okay, well, let's create a form. And we'll break each one into 5 segments, and we won't allow videos that are more than 20 minutes because we know our population won't read them, won't listen. No one wants that, right? So we're like, okay, here's the format. So we can think through the format. And then I'm like, okay, go do that. Let me know when it's done and I'll edit it, right? So I know I learned the hard way because I kept hiring people just like me. That doesn't work.
No.
Yeah, I need a very detailed people to work, to do all the stuff, to keep me going, to keep my visions going. Because I know it's this step. And it's funny because every morning she's like, what are we working on? Because she knows I'm all over the place. What are we working on today?
That's got to be an East Coast thing, I think. I don't know. Start.
I think it's I have such visions, but I do know that I can't work on 10 things at once. Yeah. So I had this idea for a workbook. So I sent it to her. I was like, can you make a workbook? How do we do this? And she made it. And I was like, let's get rid of page 2, which was my mission and my vision and picture of me. And she goes, who are we sending this to? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, I think we need it. Right. It's kind of like that other, it doesn't cost us anything because people are printing it themselves. Let's have page number 2 there. Right?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It's having someone like that that's not just yesing you, sure. Because I've had VAs, and that's why she's not a VA, right? Because I've had VAs where you just say, do 1 through 5 and they get done and they're not questioning me, right?
Because they're task. Right. Yeah, they're very task oriented.
Task oriented. I said, that's why she's different, right? I was like, I want you to stop. I want you to say this doesn't make sense. Or if you have a better idea, let's play through this. Or how does it work in the world?
That's what my OBM does for me. Yeah, 100%.
Same thing. Yeah. Exactly the same position, right? Of just, how do people download it? And I also know that I attract me, right? So almost everyone that sees me, watches me, signs our pledge is like me. They think like me. They do things like me. So if I don't do it, there's a good chance they ain't doing it, right? So we shortened all of our emails. We're like, okay, I wouldn't read that. So no one else is going to read that. So it's kind of, just remembering that we attract who we are. So that's the only person that you're playing to, really. You are the avatar.
So, and I'm going to organically get to this question because like I have to. So I don't have to, but I always love to. So you've been helping businesses and you've been helping people get started and grow and stuff. Yeah. What advice do you have for somebody who's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur?
Other than working with me? No. So my first, yeah. So actually my first advice would be to really know what you like and don't like, or do a self-assessment of, what lights you up. Here's a good question that I always ask my clients. If you were to win the lottery today, what would you do tomorrow? Right? Because now money is no longer your motivator. Right? I would open up a performing arts center for free to teach children performing arts because it'd be taking out of all the schools.
Yes, I love that. And I would open up an animal shelter.
Yeah. But I still love, I would still do this, right? I love what I do. I would still do the movement, but I wouldn't have to do my one-on-one work as much because that's what's paying the bills right now. And if I had that, I could speak on stages for free. There's things that I could do and offer my services for free. Right. But I would still do this because I love what I'm doing. Right. I love the people that I'm meeting all over the world. I actually love putting the puzzle pieces together as people are starting the businesses. So to answer your question, I would tell people really make an inventory of what you want, what you don't want. Like do 2 columns. Right. This is what I want in my next position because you're literally creating a position for yourself. And this is what I don't want. Right. I knew that I loved creating community. I work best in groups. So that was all a part of what I want. What I didn't want was a board. That's why we are not a non-for-profit. Right. But I do have an advisory board of leaders because I work better in a group. I think better when I co-create. So they can't vote me out. Right. But I can hear all the wonderful collaborations and ideas from people.
Right.
Right. So I didn't want to work on weekends. I want to work on Zoom, like how I work. I can work all over the world. Right. Yeah. Traveling is very important to me. That's why I don't have weekly anything because I travel. Right. If I have clients in masterminds, which I do have masterminds, if I'm traveling a week, we can just push it a week. Right. Because it doesn't meet every week. That's why nothing I do meets every week. Because it doesn't fit into my lifestyle. So those are the things that you have to figure out because that's what matters when you're in alignment. You have to do things that feel good. I don't have morning meetings because that time is for me. Doesn't mean I'm not working. I could. Yep. Right. Yep. But if I feel like a cup of coffee and sitting outside on my phone, answering my emails, I can do that. Yep. But I don't go on Zoom before 10 or 11 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't either. I think 10 o'clock is when I start. Wow. Well, we're almost at an hour. So how do people find you?
So the best way is through the website, if not on LinkedIn, but on the website is soulprofessional.com. It's SOUL professional.com. You can learn about the movement, the pledge, our business school, my personal services. So yeah, that is the best way. And if anyone wants to link with me on LinkedIn, you can do that as well. I'm Camille L. Miller.
Yes. Thank you for taking time out of your day today to spend with
Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And the last question I ask all my guests is, what lights your fire?
Oof. So many things, actually. The first thing that came to my mind was my kids, of course, right? Of course, my kids light my fire. They're all in the performing arts, so just going to see their shows is like the biggest thrill. Obviously the movement and travel. Travel is like something that's very personal, other than reading, but yeah, travel's like I feel like I work to travel.
Ooh.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Like I work in between my traveling. Traveling is what I really want to do. And I would like to start speaking and traveling together so I can travel and maybe speak somewhere and do that more.
So everybody listening out there, if you have international speaking gigs, let us know.
I'm in.
So thank you so much for spending time. I'm going to say goodbye and I'll be right back.
All right. Thank you.
Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out an hour plus again. I hope that you gleaned some really good information from Camille today. I did, for sure. In the comments below, why don't you just leave some comments on what you have learned? What stuck out to you from this conversation? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and review. Give us a review of this episode. Always want to know, how you perceive what we're putting out. Thank you for listening and watching and allowing me to do this. I love it so much. And until next time, go out and find what lights your fire. See ya.